Frost, Head of Clinical Support at Health Assured, and you're listening to Peace of Mind. Today, I'm joined by Yvonne Rosney, one of our life and leadership coaches. Hello, Yvonne.
Hello.
You okay?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you today?
I'm fantastic, all things considered.
Like the positivity.
Or bright smiles.
Absolutely.
Right, we'll go straight into it, Yvonne.
Sure.
Hit me, not literally.
Okay.
How did you get into coaching? Tell me your story, how you got here.
Okay, so I'm Yvonne Rosney. My official title is Yvonne Marie Rosney, which is YMO Coaching and Development. Yeah. And that all came about basically because I wanted to have that person help me in the past. So my life is kind of quite intricate. So I'm in the shortest space of time. I'm an English-born, Irish-bred New Zealander who's also worked quite a bit in Australia as well. And with that, as you can imagine, growing up had its own little intricacies, shall we say, and exciting and challenging moments, both as a child and an adult. And I've had quite a few careers. So I've gone through fair few different careers.
I love your life story.
Yeah.
Just for anyone listening, Yvonne and I have caught up before a couple of times now, and it is fascinating.
Thank you. Yeah. Haven't written the book yet because it's still in progress, right? But yeah, in a nutshell, I've done hospitality, insurance, banking, financial services, Ministry of Justice. I've had my own coffee shop. I now have this business.
And you're only 22.
Oh, God love you. Oh, you are. Right, Christmas card list, you're on it. Fantastic. I'll take that. So, part of me, I was living in New Zealand at the time and life was peachy. I had pretty much, not everything, but a lot of things ticked off my list. Yeah. Content by and large, although there was a couple of significant things that wasn't coming to fruition for me in my life. And I tried to be okay with that and struggled to be okay with that. And then slowly the wheels started to fall off. So my career was starting to fall away. My 18-year relationship was falling away. I was on the other side of the world, away from all of my family. I do have friends out there, but your core family and friends, and struggled. I struggled with it. For quite a while, and realized through the years that I had this mask on my face of I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm here to help everybody else, I'm fine. And slowly that mask was just slipping away. And it was like, I'm not okay. Yeah. And it wasn't just I'm not okay. It was like I hit a brick wall. I'm not okay. And thankfully, I could smell the coffee and got some counselling, which was needed, and slowly got up from being flat on the floor, up onto my knees and stood up straight. And I was like, oh my way, my days, this works really well. Yeah. Yet I felt, but what now? Yeah. So I had recovered to that degree, which was fantastic, but I still had this lack of confidence. I don't know what to do anymore. My life that was my life isn't my life anymore. I've got this blank canvas, was more than 22, but thank you. But still it was like, oh no, what now? Yeah. And so I was left in this void of being really scared and not knowing what to do next. And I thought, I really could do with somebody like a buddy to help me with that. That's not somebody that's emotionally attached to my situation. And I didn't know of anybody. So I thought, going forward, I'm going to be that person for other people. And that's when I started researching. And then I found there was this thing called coaching.
And here we are.
Here I am today. So I went at it hell for leather. And not only is it great because I now do the thing that I love in helping others, but it also helped myself because I self-taught what to do with the next steps. How do I become braver in a fearful environment? How do I go, I can do this? Or how do I say, I can't do this yet? As opposed to I can't do it full stop, because that's a very limiting kind of feeling. Yeah. And for me then it was just a case of I just want to be able to do that for other people, to be that safe space, to be that it's okay. Let's work it out together.
So how long have you been a coach for now?
5 years now.
5 years. Yeah.
Yes, and 5 years officially, because one of the things I worked out was, what was the thing with these different careers that was like a common thread? Was I really just bopping around from one place to the other? Because I'm obviously a bit of a wanderlust, you know, going around different places, obviously different careers as well. But I thought, surely there's a common thread. Yeah. And as I looked through it, it was like, okay, the common thread is whatever job I was in, if there was a situation or a crisis or a worry or I don't know what to do, people came to me naturally. Yvonne, I don't know what to do about this. What should I do? Or Yvonne, oh no, this has happened. And I'd be like, okay, let's sit down and work it out. And I realized that was the common thread in all of the jobs. So unofficially, I have been coaching for
forever,
more years than I care to state. But officially being qualified, you know, having qualifications in it and doing it as my own business has been about 5 years.
And what are your areas of kind of specialism? I'm assuming, you know, we could throw you, or you could throw yourself into any kind of coaching scenario. You adapt, you look at the coachee's situation and work out a plan for them moving forward. But what are your favourite parts?
Yeah, you are right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's life coaching, so it's life. So it's like any single person. It's like, right, sit down there, tell me what your woes and worries are, let's work it through together. But yes, you're right. I am a human being, and a bit like everything else, you need to specialise a little bit so that you can focus on the constant learning, because that's really important to me. Every day is a school day. So for me, it's 3 arms of the business. So one is people who are stepping into their first leadership role or are stepping into their next leadership role and don't want to continue in the way they had previously. They realise that was hard work. Surely there's a better way. So that's a key element for me, because I wish I had that when I was coming through into leadership roles. Secondly is for people considering significant relocations, for obvious reasons. Been there, done that more times than I can even count. And whilst there's lots of help out there with the practicalities of that, you know, what school would my kids go to, or, you know, where can I rent, or the immigration side of it, that's great that all that's out there. But there's not so much about the emotional well-being space side of things. Should I go? Should I not? How will the kids cope? How will they not? I've done all of that. And to have done it more than once, FYI, for anybody watching and listening, just because you've done it more than once does not mean to say that the next time you will struggle, because every single time has different aspects to it. And in some respects, thinking, oh, I've done this loads before, that's fine. That can hit you harder than the first time. Because you think, well, I should have been okay with all of that. And reverse culture shock is a huge thing. So coming back home is a big thing.
Expecting for it to just pick up where you left off.
And, you know, and it's really weird. It's like you've removed yourself from life, but your memories are bringing you back into that same scenario when actually it's 10 years further on or whatever. Life and people and circumstances have all changed. So that's really difficult to get your head around. So that's my second part of the arm.
That makes me think of, so people that have been incarcerated and come and for extensive periods of time. It makes me think, what's that film where Shawshank Redemption? It makes me think of that, you know, we're adjusting after decades of being out of society. Maybe out of curiosity, have you ever worked with anyone in that scenario, or is it something you'd be willing to do? Because I guess it's something similar.
Yeah. I mean, I'm certainly open to that, because like you said, the bones of it is a similar thing. That it's almost irrelevant for me as a coach where that person has come from. It's about where they're at today and what they need for going forward. So there's certainly scope there. And if anything, I've personally not been in prison. I've personally not known anybody who's been in that predicament for a significant time, let's say. So for me, it's like, you know, some people go, well, you couldn't possibly talk to that person. It's like, well, actually I can, because my unknowingness of it can ask those really simple questions, because I genuinely don't know. So Bob, you know, what did it feel like the first day you came out? What was the biggest thing that was on your mind? because I wouldn't have a clue. But it's completely okay to ask that question because it's about Bob's situation, not my take on it.
Absolutely. That, yeah.
So having experience in certain things like relocation is fantastic because I can empathise with some people's feelings, but to also not have experience in a scenario is completely fine as well. It's about how you learn with that other person.
Exactly. So when you think about I know we're going off on a tangent. I'll let you finish list your specialties
That's
off.
Okay.
Yeah. But thinking about relocation as well. So you will not necessarily have lived the same experience that they're leaving, and nor have you lived the same experience that they're going to.
Mm-hmm.
So that again helps. You've got that lived experience and understanding, and you can align with, so you know how to position some of those questions. But again, that's a unique experience. Everyone's before and after as well is unique to them, isn't it?
Completely.
And from what I know about coaching, and I'm in no means an expert, you are the coach, it's the same foundations and fundamental principles of the grow model, and we can touch on that as well. And using the right, the appropriate objective settings that help you adapt to every single client that you work with. So that's really, that's a good one to remember. And I've gone completely off tangent. I'll let you carry on talking about your specialisms.
You're fine. No, and that's completely exactly how you've just stated. It's about finding that anchor, that foundation point to start with, and then we. Not you, you predominantly, but we together will grow from that until you feel comfortable to off you go. The idea is that you don't stick with your coach for years on end. If you do, that's grand. If you want to have that connectability, that's fine. But the intention of a coach is you come to me because you're feeling uncertain or stuck, or you don't know what you want, but you don't want what you've got today. That's fine. I can help you figure out what that might look like. And then over the course of time, whatever that time period is, because for some people it's one session, for others it's 2 years and everything in between. But whatever works for you is that when the time is right, you'll be like, there's almost this, I'm really sorry, but I don't need you anymore. And it's like, great.
Don't apologise.
I'm delighted for you, but you know where I am if you ever need to catch up. Brilliant, So yes, so just to summarise on what you said there, absolutely, that's key. And the third aspect of my arm is young people. I'm very, very passionate about the young people we have in our society. And regardless of the circumstances that young person has found themselves in, there is this huge assumption that young people are lacking, family support or, status in society or the education they've had. And yes, I'm not taking away, there are elements of that for sure. There is also young people out there who have all of that and are still struggling. And the same goes, those young people, that's who we were at one point, and we have become adults and still struggling. So for me, it's like, let's get to these young people and stand beside them and say, hey, you're feeling a bit wobbly right now. That's okay. It's okay you're feeling wobbly. Let's see how we can make it less wobbly. So when you're standing on that little platform, you feel strong in your space, not wobbly because you think you should stand there because all your mates are as well. And it's about talking in a different way, but in a way that allows the young person to drive the situation. So that is a key thing for me. If I had Yvonne, you can have one thing to change, I would have coaching in nurseries from the get-go. And get young people to understand what these feelings are they have, that to have theirs is okay. It's okay if it's different from their friends, because it doesn't make it weird or wrong. It's just how you feel. But it's more important about what you do with that, how you be okay with that, and what you can use of that to grow your confidence and your self-esteem and to, feel stronger. And a lot of people say to me, but won't you work yourself out of a job by doing that? I'm like, well, A, in theory, yes. And I'm fine about that. But B, thanks very much, but I'm not going to be on this earth forever. And there's plenty of adults out there that need the support now. But I'd love for the young people to have that. It should be part of the national curriculum, quite frankly.
Well, this is exactly what I'm thinking as well. So, I've talked about in loads of different, episodes of the podcast with people, we want to put ourselves out of a job. That's the aim. We want to be preventative, but there's always going to be the need to be reactive. And also, what works for you when you're 14 might be very different to what works for you when you're 34. Correct. And I always think about this. I always think about coping mechanisms, for example. When I was 20, coping mechanism was a pack of 20 Richmond menthol Super Kings and a couple of bottles of red wine. Now I couldn't think of anything worse as a coping mechanism. It's very different. What I need: peace, quiet, stability, calm. That's what I need. Yeah. And it's you have to keep relearning the things that work for you. And I think that coaching is one of those things, alongside, counselling and learning different, routines in the gym work for you. Again, they would have worked differently when you were in your 20s to your 30s, 40s, 50s, and so on. And I think there will always be a place for coaching, because there's always something life takes you in so many different routes. You know that. You've been all over and followed so many different paths. And coaching will have its place at all of those, because you're going to get through different curveballs, relationships, not just in a romantic setting, but social, your peer groups and
family relationships.
Exactly. And dynamics, and life just happens.
Yes.
So that I think that you're never going to be out of work. Yeah. Basically.
Which is sad, but yes. Yeah. But I'm grateful that me not being out of work, for me, the reason that I take gratitude with that statement is, to me, I will never be out of work because people will realise I want to catch myself before I slip down that hill and need counselling. And I'm so passionate about that. I give the analogy of, you're on top of this hill. It's grey. It's misty. You can't see the pathways. There's no signpost telling you where to go. You've seen other people that there seems to be marks down the side of the hill where others have gone before. And you think, well, maybe that has to be the way to go. Yeah. Or you've lost your way and you're clutching onto the side of some rushes on the side of the hill going, I don't want to fall down this hill. I don't want to go down there. And it's like I come along and I say, give me a hand. Come over, sit on this bench for a minute. Let's take a minute. Let's catch our breath. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? Yeah. I don't know. Where do you not want to go? Down there. Yeah. Good. That's a good starting point. I don't have a map. I don't have a compass. Because I'm not telling you what to do. But what I do have is space and comfort and a little wee torch, if you think you're in a tunnel, that I can put the spotlight on different things that you've mentioned to me. I'm kind of like the talking mirror. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'll say, you've just said to me A, B, and C. And loads of people go, did I? Right, you did. And you've said it to me 3 times. Really? You did? Yeah. So I think you do know where you want to go, and just to have that space means that suddenly there's a break in the clouds, the sun comes out, and suddenly you say, oh, there's that pathway. I might go over there. And I'll be like, I think that's a great pathway to take.
I love that. Just going back to young people and really kind of honing in on what you say about, starting as early as possible. I've been just reflecting just whilst we've been talking there, and I think that is something you remember, snippets of your childhood and even your teenagers. I mean, the older you get, it's just snippets. There's really, momentous and kind of earth moving, things that happen in your life that general life, events that happen. But there's always like the random things that stick out. And, I guess I am one for self-disclosure as well. But when I was a teenager, so mid to late teens, we were, we had interaction with social services and family support workers and things like that. Loads going on. I won't bore people with it. But I was the eldest of many children and took on a parental role with that for all the various different reasons. And everyone kind of just let that happen. She took it for granted, Kaylee's the eldest, do this, do that. And there was one particular family welfare worker that would spend time with me, and I think I was about 15. And while she was there to obviously assess situations and work with us as a family, she would take me for time on my own. And I remember her taking me for what I just thought was, I think it's like a milkshake or a coffee or something like that. And I remember it so well, Karen, and she taught me about boundaries, and I didn't really know what self-care was then, but she talked to me about these types of things, and I was like, well, I couldn't, I have to be there for the family, I have to do all this and I have to do that. And she was like, you were also 15 and you're about to finish your GCSEs and you're going into your A-levels, and all you ever tell me and everyone is that you're going to go to university. That's what you're doing. You want to get out of this town.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm going to do that, but I just need to focus on this at the same time. And she taught me loads of different bits about, because I wasn't very assertive, didn't stand up for myself, just did what was needed to be done to keep everything ticking over. And there's still bits now. And I'm like, actually, that was it's stuck with me, 18 years on. And there's sometimes I have to remind myself of that. And again, I seek that kind of refresher coaching. In hindsight, it was very coaching-esque. And I seek refreshers in that through other coaches or clinicians or friends, as well. But it was, I don't know, I think I would have done other things very, very different. I was on potentially track to just back out of doing the A-levels university. I was talking about deferring years and stuff like that. And she was, this is your goal. You need to achieve this. Like, here's all the other bits that you need to do. And you can still be the big sister and you can still be the daughter.
You can still be the support that you need to be.
Exactly. And it's just made me think about that. And all these years on, she's a friend of another family friend and stuff like that. And I know that she has asked after me, and Kaylee's a woman in her 30s with a real life job now. She did it. She got there. And I always think, God, she was actually really pivotal for me at that time. And life does happen and you forget loads of things. But even just talking with you, it's like one of those like, oh my God, this blocked memory of Karen. Yeah. Absolutely changing things for me and making me think kind of selfishly about the things that I need to do for development to get where I want to go, which at that time was to leave our hometown. Yes. Before it, it swallowed me up and I never got out. And she made that happen because I was on the brink of letting it consume me.
Yeah, exactly. So like, even just hearing that story, to me, I would say that you very much are an empath. Yeah. And it's all about what do other people need. And empaths, I mean, all human beings have that capacity. What does other people need? Yeah. The thing with empaths is they absolutely need to have a very strong boundary around them. Yeah. And you referred to, it almost felt a bit selfish. Yeah, yeah. And it kind of, like, I say to people, do you know what? Empaths would say that, by the way. But there's a difference between selfish and self-centered. Yeah, yeah. So selfish has a negative connotation to it, and it's not a negative thing to be a bit selfish. Being self-centered, however, is a different kettle of fish. Yeah. That's where you are thinking about only you first and nobody else. Yeah. As long as you're comfortable, then everybody else can come to the party. Yeah. That's being self-centered. But being a little bit selfish is okay, because a bit like on the airplane, how can you help others until you help yourself? They always say that, don't they? Put your own mask on before you put the mask on for others, for that very same reason. If you're not being a little bit selfish, you can't be the empath you want to be to other people around you. Yeah. And that's where that lady, Karen, would have been coming from at the time. She would have been able to see the wood for the trees where you couldn't, because emotionally you were fraught, you're in the moment, you were trying to spin all these plates and keep them going no matter what. Yeah. Whereas she wasn't spinning the plates, but she was in the room and she could see beyond that what would happen. Yeah. Fair play to her. Brilliant. Yeah. And that's key, kind of in line with the level of work that I do with the young people as well here. Yeah. For my business is kind of like the 14-year-olds coming through GCSEs, what next, coming through college, university, and then onto their roles in life that they want to do. And like you say, very pivotal different stages of life that even like you've said, you would still go back and have a refresher. It's not because you've forgotten. If anything, it's because you haven't forgotten and you're aware of the benefit of even just having another single session at any one time.
Fine-tuning.
With a person who's not emotionally involved, but also can be objective enough to not worry about hurting your feelings.
Yeah.
I'd be straight up with Kaylee and I'd be saying, if you were talking to me about a situation and I thought, oh, you're going off left field completely.
Yeah.
I'd be like, why are you going off left field completely, Kaylee?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas somebody who loves you, a family member, might not want to say that because they don't want to hurt your feelings because you might be going, oh, who's she to tell me which way to go?
Yeah.
So it's all about, sometimes the stranger aspect of it is so much better.
You remember that person.
Yes, and especially for young people as well, because they're always told what to do.
Yeah. Oh, gosh,
it's the way of life. It's how they learn. It's the educational piece. Mm-hmm. Right up until college even, they're told what to do. Yeah. And then suddenly they're turning 18. Bye, you're off in the big bad world now. Yeah. And they're like, what am I supposed to do with that? So for me, it's like, they always say to me, what should I do? And I look at them and I go, I don't know. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Be rest assured, if I think you're going to throw yourself off the proverbial cliff, I'm going to grab you and say, no, we might not want to do that. Yeah. But the same breath, I'm not going to tell you what to do. This is the learning curve that you have now of sitting with your own psyche and feeling okay with your decision, even if it's a bit scary.
Yeah.
Because there's no such thing as a bad decision, FYI to the world. There's no such thing as a bad decision. You make a decision. If you go, oh, that's not what I thought it was going to be. All right, but you can still make a decision about the next decision. Yeah. You still have a choice what to do about that.
What good way of putting that?
Yeah. So the fear, but what if, can feel negative. The what if could be, but what if? The same two words.
Yeah. Comes across completely differently when you put it like that. Yeah.
And then, so you make that decision, you go, oh no, it's not what I signed up. Okay. But you can still do something. The world has not ended. Yeah. It might have put you on a bit of a scenic route to where you wanted to go, but that's life. Life is not this or whichever way. Yeah. It's this. Yeah. That is life. Just go for the journey.
Oh, I love that. Right, I'm going to get us back on track.
All right,
we'll circle back round.
Miles away. As we do. Scenic route, back we come.
Love. You see, it was all planned. I preempted all of that. It's part of the script. So we'll go to coaching because they'll not the theory of coaching, but what is coaching? What types of things can individuals get coaching for? What are the most common reasons? We talked about your specialties and specialisms, but what are the main reasons people access coaching?
Okay, so usually a significant change of life. So lost the job, lost the relationship, financial struggles has meant the life that they know now has had to flip and be changed. So I kind of lump all them together and call it the blank canvas. Yeah. So the painting you had is gone. Now you've got a blank canvas again. And
what a good, is that an analogy? Yeah. What a good one that. Yeah.
And the painting you had. That's how I saw it as well with me. And it was either like, for a little while, it was like, oh, I've lost everything. I've got this blank canvas, this beautiful painting that I had. I don't have it anymore. And then it was like, well, you've got, again, the choice. I had the choice. I either had the choice to continue to feel sad about that and trepidation and worry about that, or no artist by any shape or means. I thought, well, I've got a blank canvas. I can now choose what I want that picture to look like, and it's going to be what I want it to look like, not what I thought everybody else thought it should have looked like for all of those years that I was pretending. Yeah. And to try and be the person that everybody else thought I should be. I've got the blank canvas now, so I can be the person I want to be. And I will do that my way. And I don't give two hoots if it's just stick men and women and people think, oh, flipping heck, she's not much of an artist. I don't care. I'm not going to sell it. So it doesn't matter. It's my painting. So there are people that a significant life change has happened that's knocked the wind out of them. Yeah. Okay. It can be career coaching is a big one. Yeah. So, particularly young people may have come through university, kind of just went from school to college to uni because there wasn't work out there. Yeah. But didn't want to sit at home bumming about doing nothing. They wanted to be seen to do something. They've come to the end of university and they've got these degrees and they're still like, but I still don't know what to do. Me, up until my late 40s, still don't know what to do. The only thing I found out what I want to do is when coaching came to me. Up until then, I was just testing the waters with things, which is fine, by the way, if that's what happens too. But that's a big one for coaching, is where to go.
So when people want to take control of that journey that they're on.
You know, because up until that point, it's been, you could do this and you could do this. And it's like, but there comes a point where it's like, I need to pay the rent and I want to be in a job that's fulfilling for me, but I don't know what that looks like. So coaching can be really helpful with that.
That could be, just to interrupt, that could be really good, especially we're in this real big time of uncertainty. There's more people getting financially educated and more financial awareness going, oh my God, I've seen the absolute beep that my parents are in right now because they didn't do any of this. Now they don't own their own house. They're in their 50s. There's no inheritance for me coming, you know, that type of situation. And they go, I really need to get my ducks in a row here and make sure future me is looked after while still being able to maintain enjoying life. And I think coaching is really good for that, to help you figure out what for your long-term longevity of you know, financial security and stability, so you're not ending up in the same position as what you know many people are in right now, where they don't have that. You've seen that and you don't want it for you. And inside I was bursting out laughing then, not at you, but you actually said a line about having your ducks in a row. Now, just to put out there as well, for counsellors, a lot of counsellors will have a supervisor or a person to go to, you know, because of the trade of work. Same with coaching. You know, you always want to hear a coach has a coach to go to. You know, I was going to touch on that.
So I have a coach that I go to, and for quite some time I would be the person who was going, oh no, I can't do that yet because I haven't got my ducks in a row. And myself and my coach laugh now because I'm at the stage now, hey, the ducks are in the pond, I'm happy, you know? Like,
I've got sight of the ducks.
As long as I can hear them or they're in there somewhere, I'm good now. Whereas having to have the ducks in a row can cause other restrictions, anxiety and stress. But, you know, I love that you brought that line up because it is true. Like, you, in the same breath, you want to be able to nurture what is your life and what is important to you, what ducks are important to you.
Be aware of how many ducks you've got.
Exactly.
And are they within touching distance?
If you can hear them and they're flapping around in the pond somewhere, that's cool.
But this is it, because life will change in a million different ways between, you know, so I'll use between me now in my 30s to me when I'm going to retire at whatever, 70. It'll probably be about 80. I wish, that would be amazing. But, you know, life will look very, very differently. But as long as I know I did what I could through my adult years to be as secure and, you know, get to an idea of what comfortable looks like for me one day, while still living life, making memories and living in the moment and valuing everything that's around me. I think surely that's like perfection there.
The equilibrium. Equilibrium is to live in the present. Learning from the past. Being mindful of what the future may bring. But being comfortable to be in the present. Because otherwise if you've got people that are living in the past too much, they're not letting go of things or moving on or learning from their errors or mistakes or failures, whichever word sits with you, and they're stuck in the past. Counselling is very much helpful there. If you are stuck too much in the future, you're not actually enjoying what you've achieved today. You're too busy looking at what next. Well, how about we just go, woohoo, we got this today. Isn't this brilliant? And just being okay with that for a little while, whatever that little while is. More than 2 minutes, please. You know, And the idea is the balance to try and get is your equilibrium, where you can live in the present, in the today, knowing that yesterday is gone and tomorrow might never come. But if today was your last day, you could close your eyes tonight and go, do you know, I did this today and it was really good and I really enjoyed it. And I'm glad that I stopped and smelled the flowers and noticed it. What a great day.
Oh, can we just go and have a coaching session, please, Yvonne? Sure. Oh my God, I love this. You see, and anyway, I bet people that are watching or listening to this as well, they'll be like, oh my God, get me some of that. But they'll also be thinking, which leads me really professionally and nicely into my next point, really, that I wanted to cover was counselling v coaching. What's the difference? Because I bet you some people are listening to this going, well, this sounds like counselling. This sounds like counselling, surely. So do some myth busting for me, Yvonne. Right, what is the difference?
Myth busting. This is the way I explain it to all of my clients. So you are with me today.
Yeah.
You're my client, okay?
Yeah.
You're with me today, Kaylee.
Mm-hmm.
And who you are today and what brought you to be the person you are today is, for me, what has made you be who you are today. And if you've got woes and troubles and worries and uncertainties and anxieties and all those other kind of emotional baggage with you, then a counsellor can help go back down that in a safe space, because it can be very scary to go on your own, and oftentimes we don't. We just put it in that bag, lock it up, leave it there, drag it along with us. But a counsellor will help you to chip away and work through that, to learn from your experiences, to help you overcome some of them, to help you accept others, and in time you will be feeling better present about who you are today, and you will have been able to maybe let go of some of that baggage, but by and large you are accepting who you are as a person today, and you feel okay with who you are today. Counselling. A coach, you're with me today, and you tell me how you're feeling today, and I might do a little waltz. I might step back once or twice just to get a feeling of what's brought you to be with me today. But I don't go down that road, and I don't unpick any of that, and I don't tell you should, could, would, hould, whatever. I see you today and I go, okay, thanks for sharing that with me, Kaylee. I really understand who you are as a person. Now tell me, where do you want to go from here? So I'm about helping you see where the future is for you and what that might look like. And to start off with that, you may feel weighted down by baggage. And I can easily, look, we're at the station, love. You know, you've got 52 kgs that you can go on the aircraft with. You've got 200 kgs there. That's not happening. Now, why are you hanging on to that? Oh, well, because I thought I might need, but do you need it? Well, no, not really. Okay. You know, I can be a little bit more abrupt in that regard because you are emotionally feeling okay in yourself. You don't feel emotionally unstable. You don't feel that the world is against you. You don't feel that you haven't got the strength or the courage to even take a deep breath for the day. You are feeling all right in and of yourself. You're just feeling stuck and you're fed up about where you are, or you don't know what that future looks like, or you're thinking, surely there's more to life than this, or I've been hit with wet fish more than I care to imagine in the face and I'm done with it. No more slapping me with a wet fish, thanks. What do I do to be a better person, Yvonne? And because you're feeling like, I want to move on, it's like, come on, let's go do that together, Kaylee, you know? And that's how you and I will work it out. And that's the thing, you're not working it out on your own. We will work it out. I don't have the answers. I'm not supposed to have the answers. I'm not anything holy that has all those answers. I wouldn't want that pressure. No, I wouldn't want that pressure. I'd be failing somebody somewhere along the line. So, you know, for me, it's about, what do you want? I don't know. The amount of times I've had people in tears and I don't know. And it's like, hey, it's okay. It's okay. If you don't know what you want, let's work out what you definitely don't want, because people know what they don't want. And that's a great starting spot. So counselling today and what brought you to be the person you are today. Coaching today. A little step to the side to understand who you are today, but predominantly is about how much baggage can we just leave there? What must you take with you? Because people always have something that will stick with them, and that's okay. You will already be accepting that you're having to stick with that. It's about, that's fine. Let's bring it with us. And let's look at the future. And I have clients come back to me a couple of years down the track and say, you know, when I said I really needed to stick on with that, I'm like, yeah, I didn't. I said, that's interesting. When did you let it go? And I don't know. I just turned around and it wasn't there anymore, you know? And that's
that must be so.
Love it.
Yeah, like you might like fizzy feeling from that.
I love it. And I say, the other thing I say to people is, don't be looking for the corner that you want to turn. I just can't wait till I turn this corner and I can leave all that behind me and Nirvana will be there. And it's like, don't go looking for the corner, because it's like a very long sweeping turn. It won't be a corner where you come up and I've got to turn right at the lights. It'll just be this really long, but there'll come a point where you'll turn around and you'll go, I actually passed that way back there. I even missed it, you know? And that's another buzzy feeling. And I love that because the clients get really, they're like, I can't believe that happened. And I'm like, yeah, I knew it would happen.
Oh, it just even, you know, like the energy that I'm getting from you just, and I felt like when we've met and stuff as well, I just get so, you know, I feel the joy that you get from your job.
Yeah.
Because I get so much joy in my job. We're very, very fortunate that we work within a space, with the spaces that we do, you know, they're not too dissimilar. And my role is to, you know, help facilitate change for people, you know, from my perspective. But it's just such a rewarding area and space to be working in. So God only knows how, you know, like being that one-on-one person, like what you must get from that as well.
I do love it.
It has to be vocational, you know, really does.
It is. And, you know, that's the little selfish aspect of it. I get the buzz out of it. You know, I don't get the buzz out of other people not feeling great, of course. I get the buzz out of people not feeling great, not feeling sad.
Emptying, you know, dropping off all their baggage, and they're just a little nomad with a rucksack, you know.
Yeah.
Metaphorical nomad with a rucksack.
Or maybe not.
you know. Just rethinking my career. Sorry to my boss who might be listening to this.
You can still do what you're doing and do coaching.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a lot of in-house coaching now. Coaching has been a relatively new, not a new trade, but new for the market to take on board. So currently, it's like I've been ahead of the curve, if you like, and it's been a very frustrating at times, lonely drum that I've been banging, going, we need to get coaching into things. We need to have it in every business. We need to have it as a service. We've got counselling, but there's not enough counsellors because there's so many people who are struggling. So if I can help at the other end of the spectrum to catch people before they need the counselling, is that not a win-win? And, you know, I've been banging this drum. But I'm realising now, Yvonne, it's great you've been banging this drum. You've actually been ahead of the curve, which is great because now people are going, we've got this thing. And I'm like, yay! You know, I'm like, great.
Just
this
fantastic.
Is a thing.
I mean, you know, so I think coaching is used, my hair's knotted. I think coaching is used in, so like sometimes maybe not the right way. So, I mean, like from a work perspective, in my day-to-day, I have to coach my colleagues, my team, you know, and what have you, but that's on, you know, very role-specific technical pieces. But there's so much that I could just take from coaching that you deliver that we're talking about today to implement into that. From, you know, it's smaller, it's process coaching, it is how you do a certain task, it's how you do you know, certain calls and stuff, and you can grow. I mean, I use SMART in that already. So even if there's leaders or supervisors or whatever listening to this, absolutely look into things like the GROW model and SMART objectives if you don't already do that, because you can weave them already. But for this general, you know, personal coaching, the life and leadership side, like every single person will benefit from
absolutely
this.
Yeah. And it's like, I love the terminology of the life and leadership because, you know, a lot of people as well, they assume that coaching is just for personal problems or just for work issues. And it's kind of, no, it's for the person.
Yeah.
It's a holistic
like
service. It's for a person. And like what you've touched on already today, you know, today you might have a personal matter that's bothering you and you need some coaching to help you work through that. Yeah. In 2 years' time, it could be a professional workplace issue that's different, that you might need work on that. You having to come back to get coaching more than once doesn't mean say you failed. If anything, it's the opposite, is that you see the benefit of coaching, and little and often can actually be far more beneficial than waiting until the wheels are about to fall off and feel that you need to take all this time off work to find out who you are as a person. Whereas little and often can actually be far more beneficial.
Little and often.
And the leadership thing, the aspects that you were touching on there, yes, absolutely. So, you know, part of this curve, it's coming into the stage now where businesses are thinking, we like coaching. We'll have in-house coaching, thank you. We'll have a person that's on our payroll that is in our business. And that does definitely have a place for sure. But it's not instead of external coaching. Because the benefits of in-house coaching is, of course, there is a person in-house. And for things like you talked about can be really helpful for like transactional, I'm going off now into a bit of coach speak, but transactional analysis and transformative leadership styles and things like that, and what that all looks like. And yet there is still very much the scope for the external space, that people will have more comfort and confidence and trust speaking to somebody who's outside the employment space in order to put that back into the employment space. So it's not that or that. They're a bit like the coaching and the counselling. It's not that or that. They're both. There's a place of both, and they can dance together as well. It doesn't have to be either or. And the leadership aspects of it, definitely, like what you touched base on there, by understanding, and it's a bit like me with finding out about learning about me, and now it's become my business. The same for leaders. You learn how a style of leadership helps you personally. Once you've got it and understand it, and it becomes more natural that you want to and can give that to others. So you might want to be the boss that everybody likes, but by learning through coaching what little hiccups you're experiencing at the moment, you will soon realize it's actually not that I want to be liked by everybody. I want everybody to see that I'm a person of support. Because the leader of 2023 is not the manager of 1990. It's a complete different kettle.
That's profound. That was quite profound.
That might be another podcast.
Yeah, that is. We'll just call it that.
Yeah.
Oh, at the same time next week.
Yeah, sure.
Wow. But that I'm, I see more and more of on, social media, the difference between a leader and a manager, and what the ticks and crosses. And
again, each are very important in their own scope. Yeah, it's not either or. And
it's got to be, the right blend of the right elements of each, to be like the best. I mean, you've got to be a leader, you've got to be a manager from a practical, process driven piece, yes, but my brain's going away. I feel like I need to write all the notes, because there's loads that I need to just take back to work with me later this afternoon.
Well, the thing as well is a lot of people, there was, in a period of time up until now where businesses, you used to have a manager and you used to have a leader. Yeah. And of course, they thought, well, we don't need two positions. We'll have one person and they'll do both. And it's kind of like asking a dentist and a baker to get together and, do the same job. There's going to be friction, and that human being that is that manager / leader. Yeah. It'll be hard for them. When am I a manager and when am I a leader? Yeah. Which then will also be difficult for the people that reports to them. Yeah. When is that person being a manager and when is that person being a leader? Yeah. Because a manager might be, Kaylee, we've got that deadline coming today at 4:00. So what I need you to do, please, I need the reports on this and I need the data about that. Can you have it on my table, please, by 4:00? Okay, that's a manager. Yeah. A leader is, hey, Kaylee, we've got that deadline coming up, haven't we? How are you getting on? How are you getting that stuff together? What can I do to help you meet that deadline? Yeah. Absolutely the same thing, but one is a manager role and one is a leader role. And there's nothing wrong with either. It's just, it's hard sometimes to have the one person to be both.
Switching between hats, especially when it's not natural. One side of that might not be natural for them. We can get into a whole thing about leadership as well.
Which we shall.
Absolutely.
Let's come back around again.
Yeah, let's come back around. What I want to just confirm with you, because I know that I've already been asked the question about a million times. We'll get asked it loads already. But can you have counselling and coaching at the same time?
Short answer, yes. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But again, you don't have to. Yeah. So you don't have to avail of one to avail of the other. And you can avail of one. For example, I'll have clients sit with me, want coaching, and within the first session, I will know that it is beyond my scope as a coach, and that person absolutely does need counselling. And you can imagine if I just go, sorry, love, coaching's not for you. You need to go and get a counsellor. Off you pop. I mean, how is that helpful? So quite often it'll be a case of, okay, I can see why you want to move forward to this, because quite often if somebody is struggling and needs counselling, their vision of what their future looks like may not actually be a true reflection of what their vision. They just don't want to be in the pain that they're in anymore. Yeah. So they'll create this vision of the future that's probably not in alignment with their own values. Yeah. So for me, it's a case of, look, you actually do need some coaching, I'm not, sorry, you do need some counselling. I'm not a qualified counsellor. It would be wrong for me to start to break into that for you. But what I will do is help you find that person that can help.
Yeah.
And by all means, if you want me to, I'm happy to talk to that counsellor to say what we've talked about and how it could work together. Or that counsellor may say, I think you probably should focus on the counselling first, in which case you know where I am. When the counsellor's saying, hey, you're improving a lot, how about you go back and have a chat with Yvonne now? Then we've got that strong, like I said before, when you're like, yay, I just want to move. When you're in that space, boom, then we can hit the ground running. So for me, it's really important. I just don't send people away. Yeah. It's about understanding where that person is at and to be honest with them and say, I'm not a qualified counsellor. You absolutely need some counselling. Let's go and find who that person could be for you. Yeah.
Perfect. And I think so if anyone's listening, watching, if you are, looking for some coaching support, just get in touch with us. We'll be able to talk to you about your coaching options as well. If you are not a Health Assured client and you're considering putting a provider in place for employee support or student support, get in touch with us about the coaching options as well, because this is where in the space of well-being and personal development and all of that, this is really a focus area that needs to be included. It needs to be in the same way that we all say, also physical well-being, how you're looking after your body, you look after your mind and stuff like that. Coaching needs to be put in there alongside all of this. Everything works together. Holistic, you've mentioned that. So if you are unsure or about where to start or how to go about accessing stuff like this and coaching support, just get in touch with us and we'll be able to get that sorted for you. Now, before we wrap up, I cannot believe how fast the time has gone. You will be shocked at how long. I know. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, no, it's not been that long at all. For anyone that was listening today, what 2 or 3 things do you hope people have taken away from listening to you and I waffle on?
That were great wafflers?
Yes. First one, yes.
Okay. So basically I hope that people understand that wherever they are in their journey, it is okay, because it's not compared to Bob, Joe, Stephen, Sheila, whoever. Yeah. It's about you and it's about where you're at. And the first step, whether that be a counselling or a coaching or coaching journey, is about being okay with what that picture looks like. And if you're not feeling okay, still get in touch, like what you've just said. Yeah. Health Assured is the one-stop shop. Yeah. It's like you as a potential client don't have to work out, should it be this or should it be that? Get in touch with us. Yeah. We will help work that out for you, because quite often it's the ingredients of the cake, isn't it? It's a melding of all the services. Yeah, exactly. So the first thing is to please be okay with wherever you are and just get in touch, and we will help work out what that next step looks like. The second takeaway is, you've already mentioned it a couple of times about the GROW model and the SMART objectives. If you don't know what those are, do research them. We haven't got the time here to go into it.
Another 60 minutes.
It is another 6 minutes, which I'd be happy to do another time. But basically, the GROW model is a great anchoring tool to try and work out, well, what do I want? Or what don't I want? Or, just to allow you to sit. So very briefly, GROW, the goal, the reality of your current situation, the options that are available, and what will you do? And so the reality of the situation and the options, I always say to people, don't be having that little voice going, but. It has no space in those 2 places. Your reality is factually, what is my reality today? Your options are, regardless of whether that's a pie in the sky idea or not, is what are the options out there? The will is where your little voice that goes, but, that's where your will is. What will I do? Because I can see what my reality options are. I can see what my options are. What will I do so that I can reach that goal that I want to reach? So in a very little nutshell, that's the GROW model, but it's a great tool. to work through.
Yeah.
So I'd love for people to at least try it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's work or personal, works across the board.
Yeah.
The third takeaway I'd like people to do is a little exercise that I want people to take away today.
Yes.
So when you go home tonight, Kaylee, I would like you to have a little notebook that's just for this, just your own little small thing by your bed. Before you go to sleep tonight, I want you to write down 3 things that you are grateful for today. Now, I always argue with people that say, well, I did nothing, or it was a really crap day, and I always say, did you have a really nice coffee? Oh, yeah, that was nice. That's a grateful thing. Did somebody smile at you when they passed you in the street? Oh, yeah, that's a grateful thing. Did somebody step aside and let you get on the bus first? Well, yeah, they did. That's a grateful thing. A lot of people, when they think of their gratefuls, it's like, I didn't get that job.
Yeah.
I didn't win lotto.
Yeah.
The souffle didn't rise when I cooked it, It's like,
who cooks souffle?
I don't think I've ever, to be honest. I've removed myself from that failure in the first place. We just won't go there. I think it's an 80s dish, isn't it? Souffle. But hey, people do. I'm sure Gordon Ramsay has failed many a time on doing that. But think of your gratefuls as being the little things in life. Not the huge, big things.
Doing way more than 3. I bet you'll end up putting about 30.
Stick with 3.
Okay, just stick with 3.
Stick with 3, because then if you can bank some. So if you're thinking the next day, I really have had a bad day, you say, and they'll come flooding back.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you run the risk of putting 33 down in one night, and you're like, I've only got 20 the following night. I've failed. It's like, what? 3 gratefuls. Okay.
So this is also an excuse to go buy a nice notebook. Love that.
Smiggles. Other brands available.
No, that is absolutely perfect. Yvonne, this has been delightful. I cannot believe how long
I know. We had a glass of wine between us.
I know. Thank you so much. And no doubt we will be, circling back round with one another in the future. So,
yes, because sorry for jumping in, but as clients are ringing you and as people are ringing into, that creates more. Oh, we need to talk about that.
Absolutely. And, so I think there's a lot more work that we're going to be doing together in the future. That could be webinars. Who knows, more podcast episodes. Yeah. So just thank you so much for joining me today.
You're very welcome. It's been brilliant. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.